The dark and chaotic world of the Hells Angels and the life of their famous boss, Sonny Barger. From their early days wreaking havoc on the streets to their role in the infamous Altamonte Speedway disaster, Barger and his gang have left an everlasting impact on history. Join us as we uncover the untold story of the undisputed Hells Angels leader who defies every reasonable boundary. In the bustling city of Modesto, California, a legend, Ralph Hubert Barger, was born on an October day in 1938. His early life was filled with challenges as his mother left when he was an infant, leaving him and his sister in the care of their grandmother. His father struggled with alcoholism, and growing up in post-war Oakland was tough due to the decline of industries and high unemployment. Barger had a rebellious nature, often getting into confrontations at school and eventually dropping out of the 10th grade. While his friends fell into addiction, Barger worked at a grocery store and decided to join the U.S. Army at the age of 16, attracted by its discipline and brotherhood. However, he was discharged early due to issues with his birth certificate. Undeterred, Barger took on various jobs and found comfort in staying with his father at a modest hotel. In 1956, Sonny Barger co-founded his first motorcycle club, the Oakland Panthers, with a group of fellow military veterans. After the club disbanded, he joined another group where he encountered a biker named Don Boots Reeves, who wore a patch from a defunct Hells Angels chapter. Inspired by this encounter, Barger and his companions formed their own Hells Angels Club on April 1, 1957, adopting the iconic Death's Head logo. Under Barger's leadership, the Oakland Hells Angels expanded their influence and membership by merging with other chapters and establishing a network involved in narcotics. Despite conflicts with rival clubs like the Gypsy Jokers, Barger solidified the Oakland chapter's position as the largest and most influential within the Hells Angels. Renowned journalist Hunter S. Thompson described Barger as the influential figure in the club, possessing a cool demeanor and a knack for quick thinking and conflict resolution. Barger's involvement with the Hells Angels brought notoriety and controversy. He took part in the club's clash with anti-war protesters in the 1960s, gaining attention for the Hells Angels' perceived anti-establishment stance. Barger instated a rule in 1964, making the Hells Angels an exclusively male organization due to concerns for the safety of female members. Despite Barger's denial of being the club's leader, he copyrighted the Hells Angels name and oversaw its incorporation as a nonprofit in 1966. Barger's connection to the counterculture movement of the 1960s further propelled his image as a symbol of rebellion. He engaged in advising film projects and made appearances in movies, including portraying himself in Hells Angels 69. However, he developed a dislike for Hunter S. Thompson, whom he considered fake and unimpressive. During this period, Barger and the Hells Angels engaged in a controversial arrangement with the Oakland Police Department. They handed over weapons acquired on the black market to secure the release of jailed Hells Angels members. Barger denied any direct involvement in permitting crimes committed by the club, but faced accusations of trading weapons for deals on arrests. Internally, Barger's authority within the club was evident. The first sanctioned internal murder of a Hells Angels member, Paul German Ingalls, occurred in 1968. Ingalls was forced to consume a fatal overdose of barbiturates after being found guilty of burglarizing Barger's coin collection by a makeshift court. Additionally, Barger developed a heroin-selling operation and struggled with cocaine addiction during the late 1960s. Barger's criminal activities eventually caught up with him. In 1968, he and 32 other members of the Oakland chapter were arrested on drug charges, along with the confiscation of narcotics, firearms, and stolen merchandise. These events mark pivotal moments in Sonny Barger's life, intertwining his leadership within the Hells Angels, his involvement in the counterculture, and his engagement in criminal activities. In 1969, the Altamonte Free Concert, marred by violence and tragedy, marked a turning point for the counterculture movement. Barger defended the actions of the Hells Angels, arguing that their response was provoked by the crowd's disrespect for their motorcycles. He blamed the Rolling Stones for creating a chaotic atmosphere, criticizing their handling of the event. Altamonte became a symbol of the era's disillusionment, but for Barger, it was just another event in the Hells Angels' tumultuous journey. In the aftermath of Altamonte, Barger sought to reshape the Hells Angels' image. He purged the club of undesirable members and enforced strict rules against drug use. Offensive symbols and patches were discarded as the club embraced a more mainstream persona. Barger understood the power of perception, engaging in charity work and public relations campaigns to counter the negative stereotypes surrounding the Hells Angels. Barger was indicted on the RICO Act, along with 32 others in 1979. The charges included manufacturing and distributing drugs, conspiring to commit murder, assault, and intimidation. Barger spent 14 months in jail before and during the trial, but ultimately he and his wife were acquitted of all charges. During this period, the Hells Angels were also engaged in a violent feud with the Outlaws Motorcycle Club, with conflicts over control of the methamphetamine trade in the U.S. and Canada. Barger and other Hells Angels leaders attempted to organize a peace conference as a ruse to assassinate Outlaws leaders, but the plan was exposed, leading to tension within the Hells Angels ranks. In 1987, Barger was arrested as part of Operation Caucus, a nationwide investigation targeting the Hells Angels. Barger and several others were accused of conspiring to violate federal firearms and explosives laws. The operation resulted in the arrest of 38 Hells Angels members and associates and the seizure of weapons, drugs, and cash. Barger was eventually convicted and sentenced to 57 months in prison. However, Barger's return to the world outside prison walls reignited an age-old feud between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws, particularly fueled by his bitter rivalry with Harry Taco Bowman, the Outlaws' president. Philip Reich, a member of the Detroit Police Department motorcycle gang unit, described the conflict as a never-ending battle for supremacy, a relentless struggle that mirrored the infamous Hatfields and McCoy's feud. In an effort to ease the escalating tensions, Bowman organized peace talks with George Christie, the president of the Ventura Hells Angels chapter. Yet these negotiations faced setbacks, and it was believed that one of Bowman's lieutenants, Kevin Spike O'Neill, influenced him to abandon the truce for fear of appearing weak. As hostilities mounted, Bowman allegedly placed a substantial bounty on Barger's life, exacerbating the volatile situation. The clash between these rival motorcycle clubs intensified when the Hells Angels absorbed the Hells Henchmen biker gang in Chicago, resulting in a wave of shootings and bombings. Seeking retaliation, Bowman declared that the Outlaws would strike back at the Hells Angels in California. Sending a team of Outlaws members to California to surveil their targets, they aimed to carry out the assassination of either Barger or Christie. Although their attempts failed, a series of Hells Angels-owned businesses in Southern California fell victim to firebombings. The violence escalated, leaving a trail of chaos and animosity in its wake. Despite his ever-changing circumstances, Barger remained an integral figure within the Hells Angels, contributing to the legacy of the club that has defined his life. Thank you for watching. We hope this video has inspired you to delve deeper into the world of crime. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.